Welcome to hashtag Unplugged22. Take a victory lap. High five a friend. This is your moment, our moment. Together, we unplug to connect together. Pause. Silence. Let's reconvene in person again to reconnect, to tell our stories, to listen, to disarm ourselves of preconceived notions, to reframe, to reflect, to unplug. Welcome to hashtag Unplugged22. Take a victory lap. High five a friend. This is your moment, our moment. Together, we unplug to connect again and remember why we started. Let's evaluate our community and our digital impact with quality conversations rooted in context. We're about real connections that translate into real-life action. Brought to you by JamLab Africa and the Civic Tech Innovation Network.
Hello and a warm welcome to the Civic Tech Innovation Forum, hosted in collaboration with JamFest. Thank you for joining us from across the globe for this year's forum themed Unplugged. My name is Sihle Celichana, and I'm the program coordinator at the Civic Tech Innovation Network, and I will also be your facilitator for this Civic Tech Deep Dive Lightning Talk. As you may be aware, this session features recipients of the African Union Civic Tech Fund, which is a pan-African fund that aims to accelerate innovations and civic tech initiatives that have the potential to lead to citizen transformative action across the continent. This rests on the potential and recognition that there's an acute need and meaningful participation by African citizens in addressing and solving governance and development challenges across the continent. Now that I have properly welcomed you, I want to cover a few housekeeping rules. If you can, please join the conversation and tweet online today's conversation using the hashtag CTIF22 and hashtag Unplugged. We really want this discussion to be interactive, and so we ask you to please use the Q&A function to ask your questions and direct it to our speakers, as well as use the chat function for any comments and engagement. Additionally, this session will also be available in French and English translation. Now, please note that one of our speakers will be delivering their presentation in French, and so everyone will need to navigate to their interpretations icon, which is at the bottom right corner on the Zoom toolbar. You'll have to select your preferred language channel. So for non-French speakers, this will be English. And for French translations, it will be French. And you will also need to then mute the audio of the main speaker, and the translations will automatically become available. Now, before we get into the meat of why we are here today, I would like to introduce a special guest from the African Union, Head of Women and Gender Policy and Development Division, to share a few opening remarks. This series of events will not be possible without the support of the African Union, and it is a pleasure to welcome Dr. Tapiwa Nyasuru to give us her opening remarks.
Thank you so much. Good morning and good afternoon, dear colleagues, dear participants, and welcome indeed. And I'm here from the political capital of the African Union, that's Addis Ababa, and thanks. And it's a pleasure to have you all here, and good that, well, you're keeping well wherever you are. Thanks a lot. Well, it is an honor to be here with you all today on behalf of the African Union Commission, especially the Women, Gender and Youth Directorate, to where I am. And first of all, let me take this opportunity to congratulate and commend you all for the great work you're putting in to transform Africa's technological landscape. your time and effort spent in operationalizing and scaling your initiatives does not go unnoticed. I would also like to thank the University of Witwatersrand run Civic Tech Innovation Network and the GIZ office for their collaborative efforts over the past couple of months. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, the African Union is committed to supporting the sustainable economic growth and development of Africa. As a response to Agenda 2063 aspirations, the Digital Transformation Strategy for Africa 2020 to 2030 goals and the need to drive forward meaningful citizens' participation, especially in spaces of governance, to address development challenges through the innovative use of data and digital technologies. This Pan-African initiative recognizes the central importance of Africa's youth in shaping the future of the continent. For this to be achieved, there is an acute need for meaningful participation by African citizens in addressing and solving governance and development challenges across the continent, particularly the women and youth, as they form the biggest part of the population on the continent. As you know, Africa is increasingly becoming a key player in acquiring, generating, and applying knowledge to development challenges. However, more still needs to be done to ensure that technology is integrated in all policies, processes, and systems to accelerate Africa's transformation process. There are still numerous opportunities for broader citizen engagement, where the African Union is ought to play a key role in utilizing the remaining prospects of expanded citizen engagement and digital innovation through bridging the gap between policymakers and citizens, as well as public sector actors and innovation stakeholders. As such, the African Union Civic Tech Fund was created with the core objective of supporting and demonstrating effective models in citizen participation to support the scale-up of initiatives and to influence policy in support of replicable or scalable civic tech initiatives and citizens-led transformative action across the African continent. Ladies and gentlemen, through opportunities like this, we're ensuring meaningful participation by African citizens in addressing governance and development challenges in Africa that are critical drivers towards attaining Africa's Agenda 2063. Innovative tools and digital technologies are central vehicles through which citizen participation can be achieved. Digitalization does not only represent driving force for innovative, inclusive, and sustainable growth, but it also offers concrete opportunities to enable participative and inclusive decision-making. Understanding the role that you play as individuals and organizations that work in innovation and technology is very critical for us. Technology affects every aspect of our lives. It impacts participation in public space and public discourse, electoral cycles and elections, the rule of law and orderly transfers of power between governments, culture, education, democracy, and governance, and the overall human, economic, and sustainable development of Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate once again the selected grantees of the first cohort who managed to showcase the values and principles that this program was founded on through their innovative efforts and revolutionary actions. I trust that the work you have done over the past few months will go a long way in contributing to the imminent technological transformation on our beautiful continent. I wish you all fruitful discussions and engagement over the next 3 days and implementing the various programs that you work on. Asante sana, merci beaucoup, shukran. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tepiwa, for that beautiful opening address. And as you mentioned, I'd like to pick up on a few of those points. I know that we're going to have to release you as you are very busy. And for that, we're actually really grateful that you could make the time to be here with us. We value the work that the African Union, along with GIZ, have invested into the African civic tech community. And as you mentioned, technology has become such an important part of every single facet of our lives. And it is for this reason that we are not only grateful for the initiatives and the fund that has been started, but actually to be speaking to some of these organizations who are doing the work on the ground and supporting our communities. As such, I'm thus excited to introduce to you then our guest speakers and also the current African Union Civic Tech Fund recipients and grantees to share to us their participation and how this has necessarily been beneficial to not only their organizations, but as well to the communities that they serve and what lessons they've been able to draw out of these experiences. I will now touch on who our speakers will be. So firstly, we have Ussd representing Amnesty International. We have Charles from Mambo Pay, as well as Benjamin from Justice Code. Now, I'd like to invite our first speaker, Ussd, to please share their presentation and take us through what their initiative is about, their organization, what work that they've been doing, and how the work of the AUCTF has been beneficial, not only to them, but also the communities that they serve. Ussd, are you with us? Ussd? I know it's been a couple of years that we have all shifted. Virtually. Oh, there you are. Hello, hello. Okay, before I hand over to you, one last reminder to our participants joining. Now is the time for you to please switch over to the English channel so that you can hear the interpretations as Ussd gives his presentation. Ussd, the stage is all yours. If you can please put your camera on and start sharing your presentation.
D'accord. Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. C'est un plaisir pour moi d'intervenir ce matin au nom d'Amnesty International Mali pour vous présenter notre solution Civic, qui est la plateforme CIRA. J'occupe la position d'assistant de projet donc, du programme Éducation aux droits humains. Comme vous le savez tous, Amnesty International est une organisation qui œuvre pour la promotion, la protection et la défense des droits de l'homme de façon globale. Au Mali, Amnesty est présente il y a plus de 30 ans et nous travaillons sur diverses thématiques pour faire avancer les droits de l'homme. Nous menons des campagnes, des actions de plaidoyer. Et Amnesty est représenté sur toute l'étendue du territoire national au Mali, avec des milliers de militants, des hommes et des femmes. Nous unissons nos forces et nous amplifions nos voix pour apporter des changements en termes de justice, parce qu'il n'y a pas un état de droit, une démocratie, tant qu'il n'y a pas de justice, d'égalité, qui sont ces valeurs universelles pour lesquels nous sommes engagés depuis plus de 30 ans au Mali. Alors, s'agissant de CIRA, c'est le système intégré d'analyse et de rapportage de violations des droits de l'homme développé dans un contexte de crise. Comme vous le savez, depuis 2012, le Mali est affecté par une crise multidimensionnelle. Et cela a provoqué aussi des instabilités sur le plan politique et social, même économique. Alors, des graves cas de violation des droits de l'homme ont été constatés et nous déplorons malheureusement le silence des autorités par rapport à certains cas emblématiques et l'impunité devenait de plus en plus insupportable, non seulement pour nous, les observateurs, mais aussi pour les citoyens. Et cela a provoqué les coups d'État, les manifestations, les soulèvements populaires Donc, c'est dans un contexte difficile et dans un environnement aussi très hostile, mais aussi fragile pour nous, les défenseurs des droits humains. Non seulement que nous vivons des crises politiques, il y avait aussi de la rébellion, mais aussi des conflits armés, communautaires, intercommunautaires, et aussi le terrorisme ou le djihadisme qui est venu aussi amplifier la situation, empirer la situation sur le terrain. Et donc, c'est dans ce cadre que CIRA a été déployé, parce qu'on ne peut pas parler de la bonne gouvernance sans parler des droits de l'homme, et on ne peut pas aspirer à une démocratie tant que les droits de l'homme ne sont pas respectés. Donc, cela a été développé dans ce contexte au départ par une consortium avec le soutien toujours de l'Union européenne. Et nous avons été parmi les heureux bénéficiaires aussi de ces fonds de l'Union africaine, les Civic Fund, que nous remercions davantage ici pour cet appui à notre initiative. CIRA est un système qui a mobilisé les organisations de défense des droits de l'homme, qui a renforcé la synergie d'action entre les défenseurs des droits de l'homme. Vous le savez, comme on le disait, un physicien à l'époque, Lord Clemens, si vous disiez quelque chose et que vous avez des nombres, vous donnez des précisions, alors nous savons que vous savez ce que vous êtes en train de dire. C'est-à-dire que les statistiques, la précision en termes de données, elle est très importante dans le travail des droits de l'homme. Non seulement que nous apportons des arguments théoriques, mais faire appuyer nos actions de plaidoyer avec des chiffres de manière assez précise et très pointue. Donc, ça aiderait les organisations à amplifier leur voix. Ça donnera aussi autant de crédibilité à ce que nous disons. Ce ne sont pas que des rapports, des simples littératures. Ça démontre la réalité sur le terrain. Donc, lorsque vous pouvez mesurer ce dont vous parlez et que vous l'exprimez avec des nombres, alors vous savez quelque chose de votre sujet. CIRA est un outil, un exemple concret donc, qui soutient cette affirmation. Je ne vais pas faire un discours sur les statistiques, mais je vais dire de façon globale comment CIRA a aidé les organisations de défense des droits de l'homme à travailler en synergie d'abord, parce que pour l'utilisation, la plateforme est disponible, accessible à tous les citoyens, mais plus de 50 organisations contribuent à la documentation, à la vérification des cas de violation des droits de l'homme. Non seulement que les communautés qui sont victimes, qui sont affectées, souvent même dans les zones inaccessibles par nous, les observateurs, ils ont la possibilité de nous alerter de leur situation et ça va nous aider, nous, dans notre travail, donc d'approfondir les recherches, les investigations et informer les autorités, mener des actions de plaidoyer pour que change toute cette situation que les communautés vivent depuis longtemps. Donc, nous avons à notre disposition des observateurs qui travaillent au premier plan, comme vous le savez, mais aussi l'autre avantage de CIRA, c'est la précision des localités. Donc, comme vous voyez avec cette carte, on peut préciser aujourd'hui tout de suite s'il y a un incident, dans quelle localité donc il y a eu ces incidents. Et on peut aussi mesurer quelles sont les régions du Mali qui sont affectées beaucoup et là où il y a eu plus de violations des droits de l'homme. Cela nous aidera non seulement à cibler donc, les victimes par rapport même à la prise en charge juridique, à la prise en charge médicale d'abord, parce que ça, c'est le préalable qu'il faut faire quand vous voulez aussi défendre. Donc, quand le travail de monitoring consiste à résoudre des problèmes de droits de l'homme, donc pour pouvoir résoudre un problème, il faut savoir d'abord qui est victime et qui est auteur, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé, où et quand Donc, CIRA nous donne ces précisions. C'est aussi cet avantage-là. Ce ne sont plus que des chiffres. Et l'autre avantage, c'est aussi l'instantanéité. C'est-à-dire, avec CIRA, tout de suite, il y a un événement quelque part dans une région du Mali. Les observateurs qui sont là-bas, les activistes qui sont là-bas, mais aussi les communautés peuvent faire des alertes. Et donc, ils peuvent faire des alertes, ils peuvent nous informer de leur situation. Ça, c'est quelque chose qui est salutaire, qui aide donc les communautés à être eux-mêmes les défenseurs de leur cause. C'est-à-dire que aucune situation, aucun cas d'abus, de violation ne peut rester inaperçu aujourd'hui au Mali grâce à CIRA, parce que tous les citoyens ont cette possibilité d'alerter et d'informer avec cet outil. Notre travail, comme je le disais, dans un contexte aussi de crise, aide ceux qui sont dans l'humanitaire à cibler les bénéficiaires des différents fonds, des aides qu'ils accordent. Vous le savez, avec CIRA, on peut localiser et on peut aussi énumérer les victimes, les personnes qui sont affectées. Et donc, avec ça, nous pouvons tout de suite quantifier, évaluer les besoins de façon très rapide. Et grâce à ces systèmes intégrés, et donc c'est un travail de complémentarité entre ceux qui alertent et ceux qui aussi viennent en appui avec les vivres, les médicaments, mais aussi pour la prise en charge juridique. Comme vous le savez aussi, au Mali, le contexte social n'est pas du tout favorable, par exemple, aux essences sur certaines thématiques. Et donc, les droits des femmes, des enfants sont souvent violés. Et il faut donner aussi la possibilité à ces personnes de rentrer en contact de manière assez discrète avec les organisations de défense des droits de l'homme. CIRA permet cela parce que les gens ont peur de venir peut-être dans un bureau pour parler de leur situation, pour des contraintes ou des barrières sociales. Mais avec CIRA, ils peuvent alerter, ils peuvent nous informer, nous donner des informations sur les situations et nous aurons donc la possibilité de pousser des investigations. Donc ça, c'est aussi l'avantage parce que ça permet aux femmes, aux personnes marginalisées de parler de leur situation et sans se compromettre, sans risque en fait. Ça, surtout l'aspect sécurité, c'est très important. Donc c'est avec ça que nous pouvons faire des plaidoyers, c'est avec ça que nous pouvons informer et aussi interpeller les autorités, les décideurs pour faire avancer certaines questions des droits de l'homme qui sont violées au quotidien, mais qui ne choquent personne. Donc ça, c'est l'autre avantage que CIRA a accordé aux défenseurs des droits de l'homme, mais aussi aux détenteurs des droits de l'homme. L'autre avantage, c'est le journalisme d'investigation. Dans un État de droit, dans une démocratie, les journalistes sont des gardiens de la démocratie. Donc, il n'y a pas de démocratie sans en fait, un journalisme, sans les médias indépendants, sans une presse libre. Et pour cela, nous accordons une attention particulière à la situation des médias. Non seulement que nous leur donnons la possibilité de pousser des investigations, donc avec ce système d'archivage qui est CIRA, mais aussi avec les différents rapports que nous publions via cette plateforme, comme vous le voyez. Donc, les journalistes ont cette capacité d'utiliser ces chiffres et les rendre publics pour monter la pression aussi auprès des décideurs, pour changer, pour mettre aussi en lumière les cas emblématiques de violation des droits de l'homme, mais aussi les cas de corruption. La corruption est quelque chose qui est complice et la corruption affecte beaucoup la situation des droits de l'homme. Non seulement elle empêche la jouissance des droits civils et politiques, mais la corruption affecte aussi les droits humains de façon globale. La corruption facilite la traite des personnes, la corruption facilite même c'est un facteur qui empêche aussi l'accès à la justice aux citoyens. Et donc, pour éviter cela, nous accordons une attention particulière. Avec SIRA aussi, nous avons des formulaires que les observateurs pourront renseigner pour ce qui concerne tous les cas de crimes économiques de façon globale, parce que c'est ça aussi qui affecte, parce que ça empêche l'accès à la justice. Lors des différentes manifestations, nous avons aussi documenté les cas des abus ou des bavures des forces de sécurité et de l'ordre. Donc, aujourd'hui, ça permet aussi d'avoir un regard sur donc ces actions des autorités qui non seulement violent, mais aussi font tout pour faire taire aussi certaines personnes. Donc, nous aidons aujourd'hui les journalistes à mettre en lumière, à rendre public donc ces cas et aussi à renforcer les plaidoyers. Non seulement que les journalistes ils sont victimes, donc ils peuvent alerter aussi leur situation. Il y a un formulaire qui permet aux journalistes donc de faire des rapports de leur propre situation et aussi des situations d'autres personnes, mais aussi d'utiliser les données de SIRA pour faire donc des articles, mais aussi d'utiliser ces cas aussi pour approfondir, vous m'excusez, les investigations, donc rendre public tous ces cas de violation, d'atteinte que les gens sont victimes dans ce pays depuis quelques temps. Donc, c'est un outil qui est très important et nous avons au fil du temps aussi consolidé la plateforme pour prendre en compte aussi certains aspects spécifiques des droits de l'homme qui ne sont pas liés au conflit ni des crimes économiques, notamment l'esclavage par ascendance, parce que ça cible aussi des communautés, une petite minorité qui sont exploitées, qui sont marginalisées depuis très longtemps. Donc, la plateforme les donne cette autonomie aussi de rendre public, d'informer nous, les défenseurs des droits de l'homme, de leur situation et sans compromettre leur sécurité. Ce travail est facilité grâce à SIRA. Nous travaillons, comme je le disais, avec non seulement les organisations qui sont spécialisées dans la défense des droits de l'homme, mais aussi avec les associations, les groupements féminins, les groupements des jeunes qui peuvent utiliser cette plateforme. L'analyse, les recherches sont aussi facilitées pour ceux qui sont des chercheurs, donc de faire aussi une comparaison, de faire des vérifications sur la situation réelle. Quand vous regardez SIRA, tout de suite, le nombre des incidents, ça évolue, ça permet de mesurer, d'évaluer les niveaux de violence, le niveau des abus, des atteintes dans le pays. Donc, brièvement, voilà ce que SIRA a facilité donc aux défenseurs des droits de l'homme depuis quelques années. Et nous estimons que une utilisation continue de cette plateforme va non seulement renforcer la synergie, parce qu'aujourd'hui, ces données ne proviennent pas d'une seule organisation, mais de plusieurs organisations, ce qui justifie que, voilà, c'est des données qui sont crédibles, c'est des données qui incarnent la réalité du terrain, et ça permet aussi à chaque course ou à chaque groupe ou à chaque communauté aussi, donc de mettre en avant ses propres problèmes, parce que les communautés qui sont victimes ont désormais donc cette capacité d'alerter directement, même si ces zones sont souvent pour des questions de sécurité ou des moyens logistiques.
Sorry to interrupt you. You could just wrap up for us.
Excuse you?
I was saying, sorry, if you could just wrap up for us.
OK, OK, OK. Donc, voilà brièvement ce que la plateforme et ce que nous avons fait donc, avec cette plateforme. Et nous continuons à travailler avec ce qu'il faut aussi tenir compte que nous sommes dans un contexte difficile et pour faire cela, il faut toujours améliorer de façon continue, prendre les feedbacks du terrain au fil de temps pour améliorer aussi la plateforme dans le temps et adapter au contexte, à la réalité. Donc, les situations sont volatiles et il faut toujours essayer d'améliorer donc votre solution dans le temps. Et c'est ce travail que nous allons continuer à faire. Je m'excuse d'avoir trop développé peut-être sur la plateforme et j'espère que nous aurons le temps de vous partager aussi d'autres détails si les questions viendront certainement. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, Yusuf, for that insightful presentation. I don't know about you, but I definitely have quite a number of questions that I'd like to pick up and tease further in the discussion. And just a reminder to our attendees that the Q&A function is also there and available for you. Leave some questions for our speakers. In the meantime, I think we can invite Charles from Mambo Pay, which is based in Zimbabwe, to come and share their presentation. At this point, for our attendees, you should be able to switch back to normal audio so that you can hear Charles's presentation in English. And for all of our French language speakers, you can now navigate to your interpretations icon and change your channel from English to French. Thank you so much. Charles, over to you. If you could please stop sharing your screen, Yusuf. Oh, lovely. All right, Charles, over to you.
All right, thank you very much, Celia, for the opportunity to discuss with you. My name is Charles Mohindo, and I'm the team lead at Mambo Pay, and I'm very happy to actually share with you today. So I'll go straight and share my screen, which has my presentation. Well, I hope everyone is able to see my screen. Okay, so just like I said, my name is Charles Mohindo, and I'm the team lead at Mambo Pay. So let me tell you a little bit about Mambo Pay. So Mambo Pay is a last mile digital payments platform that supports organizations make payments to hard to reach areas. It also helps citizens and leaders to crowdsource funds for their community projects. All right, so let's now dive in on the African Union Civic Tech Fund initiative. So we built a platform called Citizen Voice as our African Union Civic Tech Fund initiative. And well, in the subsequent slides, I'll be telling you more about Citizen Voice. All right, so why Citizen Voice in the first place? So Citizen Voice is a platform that connects citizens to their leaders in order to facilitate direct communication, collaboration, and meaningful participation in decision-making and governance. So as we move on, I'll actually give you more details about this. So what is that particular problem that we're actually trying to solve with Citizen Voice? All right, so I would like to first paint a picture of what happens, especially in Uganda and most parts of Africa, during and after an election. Yeah, so during campaigns, you know, leaders will come out, they will try to, you know, push for votes. You know, they'll speak all the beautiful words to the citizens, with the hope that they can actually vote them into their positions of power. But guess what happens? As soon as the citizens have actually cast their vote and these leaders have been sworn in the different offices, there seems to be a trend where the leaders and the citizens seem to be cut off. The citizens just quickly jump into their, day-to-day jobs, and the leaders continue with their, normal work, office work. And there's a huge disconnect, all right? So we feel this is a very big problem, and it hampers service delivery, because if I, as a citizen, I even don't have the phone number of my area member of parliament, I don't have the phone number of the chairman LC5, who's supposed to listen to my issues, then how else am I supposed to be able to channel my problems or my challenges to him, all right? So this is a very big problem that we built the platform Citizen Voice to be able to address this kind of issue. The second problem is the issue of bureaucracy. So today, even if some citizens have decided, or already know where to find the leaders in their offices, the process of reaching these leaders to be able to sit down with them and actually share ideas or share to them their pain points, it's quite tricky, simply because of the heavy bureaucracy that exists today, okay? So we feel that to the citizens, it's an opportunity to actually be able to avert some of these challenges. And then also lastly, the other problem that we realized is, so as I speak, there is not one single unified platform that actually, channels leaders' issues, rather citizens' issues to their leaders, okay? The current platforms that we have are social media platform. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, but I mean, somebody can create a pseudo account, somebody can create a ghost account and just say about anything. So some of the leaders don't take the views that are communicated on Facebook very, very seriously. And at times also, they are reluctant to even respond to any issues that could be raised to them via social media. So this is why we found need to actually create a specific platform that is specific to this kind of role, and we called it Citizen Voice. All right, so let's dive in and get to the detail of Citizen Voice. So we have, at Citizen Voice, we have a web portal, and that web portal is targeting people who are tech savvy, those who can have access to the internet, all right? So you can create your account on the platform, and focus is given to those who already have national IDs and are eligible to vote. So it means if you're a minor or you're not a voter, you're not the kind of target citizen we're looking at, all right? We want somebody who can vote, somebody who represents their community well, and somebody who understands their civic rights very well. And chances are these are people who are above 18 or people who are eligible to vote, okay? So you use your national ID number or your voter's ID to create an account on our platform. So also on the Citizen Voice platform, we give you access to all your leaders at different levels, starting from your local chairperson 1 to LC2, LC3, the area member of parliament, all through up to the president. So we give you access to those leaders, and in a button click, you have all of them on just one dashboard as soon as you log in. So on the same web platform of Citizen Voice,
is it possible we have lost Charles? Charles, are you still with us? All right. I think we have lost him for a second. Perhaps, Charles, could I please ask that you turn off your video as a way to help with the network connection, and you may continue presenting.
Okay.
I know we lost you for a second there, and sorry for the interruption.
It's okay.
But these are some of the joys of living in Africa.
I totally understand. So I hope this is where we were at. Can you confirm for me if this is where we were, according to you?
Yes. So we
All
were
right.
still speaking about the levels of parliament to which people have access to on the platform.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah. So just like I'd said earlier, so all the leaders, so as a citizen, once you log into your platform, you have all the leaders, okay? You can click on a leader, you can look at the leader's programs, you can look at what the leader is up to, you can actually ask a question which goes directly into a public discussion forum, and the expectation is that the leader will then come and give their feedback, all right? So also in the same faith, just like it is for most of the governments and parliaments, parliamentarians or MPs are literally meant to represent the ideas of the citizens. But it doesn't seem to be the case today. Why? Because when leaders go to parliament, especially the members of parliament, and there is a bill that needs to be passed, they seem to vote on this bill on their own accord. I mean, there's very minimal consultation with their citizens, all right, or their constituents. So with Citizen Voice as a platform, we also give an opportunity for the citizens to actually take part in certain decision-making processes by giving them a poll. So it means if there is a debate coming up in parliament and the citizens want their leader to express a certain view, you know, so different leaders, rather citizens, can start to vote on a poll. And once we have the poll results in, then the parliamentarian who is supposed to be our leader, then will carry forward our view in accordance with the poll results, okay, and represent us, you know. So we believe with this kind of platform, then everyone's voice is well represented, okay. So I know some of you are wondering what happens to that person who may not necessarily have access to the internet. So we're saying we've actually thought about that person as well. And we've created a USSD platform as well as an SMS platform. So with the USSD platform, it's a menu. It's a menu that actually guides the user, all right, who may not have access to the internet, to still be able to engage at a certain level with their leaders. They can post their views, they can ask questions, they can look at what their leaders have actually been posting, they can look at all the pledges of their leaders, the campaign promises, and very many things, all right? So, and the joy about this USSD is it's available in a local language, all right? So when you're signing up on the platform, you're not actually tied to English as the language of instruction. You can actually decide to have this menu in your own local language. And we feel this actually gives an opportunity to even that poor lady deep in the village in a rural area to also be able to, you know, voice her concern to her leader. In the same faith, the same platform, Citizen Voice, through the SMS platform, it allows for updates. So literally, it sends out updates of what is actually going on the platform to the citizens. So depending on how you've set the frequency of the SMSs you want to receive from your leader about what is going on, you can always receive weekly or daily SMSs in your own preferred local language. If a new budget is out, you know, you can receive an SMS about that. If the road construction is going to start, you can receive an SMS about that. And it's two-way. Either way, if you also have an issue you would like to report, you can also type out an SMS and send it to a particular short code. We'll receive it on our system and we'll upload it for you on the platform, right? So in a nutshell, Citizen Voice is not only targeting people who are tech savvy, but it's also targeting every kind of person, including that person holding a $10 phone, okay? And as part of the solution, we've also thought through something called natural language processing. And what do I mean? So literally, the main language of instruction on the platform is English. But however, when you're actually interacting with the platform and you don't understand English, and you've already declared your preferred language of instruction, for example, your local dialect. So what the system does is it will automatically do translation for you. Of course, we're taking advantage of some level of artificial intelligence. So, you know, if you're to post in your local language, the system picks your post, it automatically translates it into English and it will post for you. But it also gives an opportunity for somebody to actually view the original text in case you want to see if there's any discrepancy between the translation or the and as well as the original text. Okay, yeah. So in a nutshell, by giving this sort of tool, we are giving equal representation to people regardless of their gender, regardless of their tech savviness, regardless of region they come from, whether they're from the city or from the village. Okay. And you must be wondering also how this platform, Citizen Voice, is of value to the leaders. So we're saying it's not only single-sided to focus on the citizens only, it's also bent or inclined to serve the needs of the leaders. And this is how, you know, in the subsequent slides, I'm going to share with you how the leaders literally benefit from Citizen Voice. All right, so number one is Citizen Voice shines a spotlight on the leaders. And what do I mean here? It means, whereas the leaders are doing very good work, okay, it's at times very hard for them to be able to convince their citizens that they are really working. Because as I speak today, if we didn't have Citizen Voice, okay, it would be hard for a leader to be able to reach each constituency member or each member in his docket, you know, and tell them about the progress they're making, okay? So at the end of the day, a leader may be taken not to be working, okay, simply because his works have not been given light, all right? So with Citizen Voice, we're saying, no, as a leader, we also give you an opportunity. You can also be able to, you know, showcase your work, tell us what you've achieved. If you're directly concerned about a certain road project, please write about it, post about it, so your people can actually get to know. And this gives you an opportunity when it comes to re-election, okay? So also on the same platform, if there is an announcement that you need to make as a leader, it's a quick win for you. You have one single platform where in a button click, you can be able to send out a quick announcement to your people, all right? So it's much easier, regardless of whether they are online or offline. If they are offline, they'll receive the announcement in form of SMS directly translated to their local language, okay? Then also the same platform will allow you to respond to the citizen queries and grievances, all right? So instead of people cocooning in their small local village groups and speaking ill of you as a leader, with Citizen Voice, we give you a platform to say, you know, to come out straight. People have an issue, they post it on the platform, you come out as yourself and address this issue, all right? So this way you actually avoid any, you know, ill intentions that may be mentioned to your name, all right? So you come out clean and clear your name. Yeah, so also in the same faith as a leader, in case you want to actually get, you want to vote or to represent a certain view, maybe on the floor of parliament, you have the power to be able to post a poll and say, hey, my people in my constituency, there is this bill coming up. What can I say? How do you want to be represented? All right. So you run that poll and you give it a month, give it 2 weeks, let your people vote on it so that, you know, you're not held, you know, responsible alone. It should be carried, holistic responsibility for every member that you actually represent, because you then have evidence to back up your decision on how you voted for that kind of bill. All right. And also lastly, on the side of the leader, in case there's an opportunity, let it be a scholarship. Don't hide it. Don't just share it with your relatives. Don't just share it with your friends. I mean, you're a leader for the people, all right? So Citizen Voice gives you this kind of opportunity. It gives you this platform where you come up with such opportunities and say, hey, I have an opportunity where this scholarship is going to take care of 20 people or 20 learners that are disadvantaged. But I'm still beaten by how I can actually choose these people from the community. You understand? So once that is shared with your people, then your people take part to identify. Somebody's going to say, oh, Mary, you know, is a bright girl, but I mean, she's disadvantaged. So people can solicit names. And, you know, as a leader, through this platform, then your impact is felt up to the lowest person on ground, okay? So now let's quickly run through, you know, yes, my friend.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can you please wrap up? We do not call them lightning talks for no reason. So if you could please,
all right, in just a few minutes.
Yes.
Okay, I'll just wrap up in a few minutes. All right, so these are the other tools or the additives that we have that Citizen Voice also gives you. It gives you a budget tracker that helps you track all the budgets, you know when money has been released and how the users, the leaders are using your money. It also has a campaign promise tracker, you know, so we're saying these leaders should not only promise things that they won't fulfill. Citizen Voice will actually list all their promises and keep ticking off what they've been able to do, all right? And it helps you to hold them accountable. It also has an e-wallet, which literally helps to crowdsource funds for crowdfunding, especially for community projects, and also show expenditure. And if there are any donations, this is the part where they go. It also has an e-library that is full with ebooks, e-resources, magazines, and if there is any resource that needs some sort of feedback, you know, people can actually comment on some of these resources here. So what are the benefits that we've received from the fund? It has actually helped us a lot. It has helped us build the platform. It has helped us get exposure, you know, through the tours as recent, you know, in Berlin, I took part in the Republika, which was a very huge success, and I learned a lot. So it has actually increased or grown our domain knowledge in terms of the civic space. The accelerator program, I can never speak, you know, there's just too much. Our budgets have been met because of this fund. Our pilot was only made possible because of this fund. And I wish, you know, God can continue to bless the hands behind this. Yeah. So some of the lessons drawn as I conclude, yeah, we've learned that our solution, if deployed really well, and to cover all the parts of the country, will impact on very many citizens and will allow leaders, you know, serve their citizens better through, you know, improved interaction. We've also learned that the best way to actually have maximum impact is through a phased rollout that we are actually doing now in selected communities and leaders. I thank you very much for your time, and yeah, God bless you.
Thank you so much, Charles. Once again, everybody, that was Charles representing Mambo Pay with their initiative, Citizen Voice, based in Uganda. I know it is such a terrible thing to stop speakers mid presentation, but I know I have to be very cognizant of the time that we have. And please, just a reminder to all of our attendees, the Q&A and chat is still there for you to kind of engage, ask questions, probe a little bit more. And if perhaps we can ask that our representatives from the three initiatives also leave their details and websites so that people can peruse that at some point. All right, last but certainly not least, now we're going to hear from our third speaker, who is Benjamin from Justice Code, who will be telling us about the initiative VoteBot, and they are based in Zimbabwe. Benjamin, can I please invite you to take the stage? Please keep note that you've got 15 minutes, and when you see me come on screen and put my video on, it means that you need to start wrapping up. Are you with us, Benjamin?
Yes, I am. I'm with you. I'm hearing you.
Lovely. Okay, can you share your screen if you're going to be hearing the presentation? And I will just quickly go into the background. I'll be starting your 15 minutes now.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. My name is Benjamin Makono, and I represent Justice Code Foundation. I'm the deputy director there, so I'll be sharing my screen just now, and I also summarize my presentation because I don't want to take more than 15 minutes because I have a lot to say about the project. So let me just try to share my screen with you.
Just a note, Benjamin, you might need to switch off your video while you present and share your screen, okay?
Okay. I hope everyone is seeing my presentation. So I was saying Benjamin McConnell once again from Justice Code Foundation, the deputy director there. My Justice Code Foundation is a youth-led organization where youth-led tech organization. We focus on exploiting existing technology and also trying to develop new tech solutions to ensure that we aid in promoting and protecting and remedying human rights in Zimbabwe, in our society, hopefully as we expand in throughout the continent. So basically what we do is that we identify a problem, we identify the human rights problem, we identify problems that are existing in the communities, in our Zimbabwean communities, and then we try to come up with a tech solution to ensure that everyone, if it is a human rights violation, it is remedied, it is protected, and people get to know what exactly the law says, what the constitution says about the rights, about governance, about transparency. So basically what we're trying to do is that we're trying to ensure that people have access to information through technology. So through the African Union Civic Tech Fund, where we were able to develop a project called VoteBot. A VoteBot is an election information system, election information tool that people can use to get information about election, what the law says about elections. So our main target with this project was the youth and women, because statistics that, according to statistics that other organizations have published and researched about, they say that more than 75% of the Zimbabwean population is constituted with youth aged between 18 and 35, and also women. And what was really disturbing, what really drove us to then try and come up with this solution is the fact that in a study that was published by an organization called Yet here in Zimbabwe, they said it stated that every 1 youth and 5 youths didn't know about the 2018 constitution. They had no idea what it said. They had no idea what it entailed about their rights or their political rights. They had no idea. So within, we saw the need to then try and then develop this tech solution. So why is it WhatsApp chatbot, WhatsApp-based chatbot systems? Was we identified that many youths in Zimbabwe are using WhatsApp as a form of communication. 40% of our youths in Zimbabwe use WhatsApp as a form of communication. So we saw that it is easy for us to then disseminate this information to them, so that they get access to information, they get to know what really the law says about the election, since we are now fast approaching the 2023 harmonized elections here in Zimbabwe. So it need to then try to encourage the youth and women to participate in this election space, because from the previous election in 2018, out of 210 parliamentary seats that are there, that are away, we voted for, only 6 were only 6 seats were taken by the youth. So you see that now that the youth are underrepresented in the parliament, and less than 5 were taken by women. You now see that women and youth are underrepresented in the parliament, yet they form 75% of the total population in Zimbabwe. So now, through the African Union Civic Tech Fund, we were able to create, to develop the board solution. We're also able to launch it in two Zimbabwean districts, which is in Matebeleland and Manicaland, and where we are piloting and testing this, our solution. And we have also provided shuttle services to youth who want to register to vote. To provided more, I think, more is, as my slide is showing, so 1,203 youth. So we then had to limit the number because of restrictions and funds. So, and also since we are still piloting, so we have used, we've reached over 50,000 plus platform users in these two districts, as I've mentioned. And through this this African Union Civic Tech Fund, we've also managed to be visible out there. We've also managed to engage in different partners, different partner organizations who are almost in the same line of work with us. But bearing in mind that we are mainly focusing on tech, they focus on the old way of doing things, the physical campaigning way of doing things. So we are coming in with a tech that is meant to complement the old way of doing things, the natural way that we do things. So because of African Union Civic Tech Fund, we've been able to then engage with them. We are still on negotiating stages with them so that we further implement this project beyond the Civic Tech Fund period, because we are fast approaching the 2023 harmonized Zimbabwean elections, and we have gathered momentum, and we're still pushing, and people are really showing interest in our project, and more organizations are showing interest on our project, want to partner with us so that we implement it and we further pilot this across more than the two districts that we are currently operating in. So as I highlighted, the problem that we're really trying to solve is that here in Zimbabwe, youth and women are a bit skeptical about taking part in elections because of the history that the Zimbabwean election environment has. There's no transparency, there's no proper governance, civic engagement, citizen engagement, civic engagement are the low because people, they always complain that there's rigging, so we don't need to take part in the elections. But what we then understood is that people, they don't want to, youth, especially youth and women, they don't want to take a part in election because they do not know what the law says about the election, what the law says about their political rights. So lacking that information then means that they then don't see the need to participate in elections because they don't have that information, they don't have access to that information. To those that have access to that information, they don't understand what, because I understand that the legal terminology and language is sometimes difficult for people to understand. So what we then did is that we then, with this chatbot system, with the board solution, we then simplified the law to them, what the constitution says about the election, what the electoral act says about the elections, about their right, equally the right to vote. Now, during one of our physical campaigns, because we also do both, it's sort of a hybrid way, do online and physical campaigns. During one of our physical awareness campaigns, the youth that attended the workshop, we were surprised to see that more than 80% of them, they did not know who was in charge of conducting elections in Zimbabwe. They did not know who declared election date, be it by election, be it a parliamentary election, be it a presidential election. They did not know. Yet the constitution is there and says that this is simple information that we expect people to know, but they did not know. So now we are coming in with the vote board that tells them all this information, that gives them this information on WhatsApp, a tool that they use on a day-to-day basis, especially the youth and women. And what we also realized that normally we have observers that come in to observe elections from the AU, from the EU, from SADC, and a local civic organization in Zimbabwe. But what they simply do is that they just do the analysis and they publish reports without engaging the citizens. So now with the vote bot, we have realized that there is need to ensure that these citizens, the youth, the women, are also made to be part of the observers of the election process. So what we did is that with the vote bot, it then allows you to take a picture, if it is a picture, to record an audio, if it is an audio of any election malpractice during any election, be it parliamentary or local governance or the presidential election. That is what the system is all about. That is what the solution is all about. So now during the implementation for the vote bot project, we faced challenges. So in Zimbabwe, when you're trying to educate people about what the constitution says about their right, the state is a bit, they really don't like it. The government, they really don't like it. So during our workshop trainings and the 2 districts that I mentioned earlier that we launched to initiate the project, we noticed that the state agencies, security personnel, they would attend and then they would try to intimidate some of the participants, not to open up to us, not to say what their views on the election environment, the governance issues in Zimbabwe. And also, as I mentioned, that
Benjamin,
sorry?
I'm just giving you your heads up for you to start wrapping up, if that's okay.
Okay, I'm wrapping up. So from challenges, we also had key lessons that we learned from this, from our initiative or project. We learned that we need to categorize to further fine tune our solutions so that people get to understand, people get to get access to the information in their local languages, because currently it is only in English. So now we're upgrading the solution to improve other local languages, Shona English. So our aim is to have all the 16 recognized languages in Zimbabwe to be there on our platform. So we are also aiming to, as I was explaining about the monitoring, we're also aiming to ensure that the election observing begins from the citizen, from the youth, from the women, not only for it to be limited to ZEC accredited observers and any job personality or civic organization. So we're also trying to make sure that even the citizen, if he sees a malpractice, they alert us, and then we collect the data and we proceed it to the relevant authorities. So these are our target results. We want to have an increased community awareness across Zimbabwe, where people know what the constitution says about their rights, where people know what the constitution says about how the election should be held or done, or the procedures that should be done. And also in terms of the sustainability of our project, this is a project that can be replicated in other African countries. I understand that in South Africa in 2024, there are going to be public elections. So it's a solution that can be replicated in other African countries. And also we are aiming to develop our solution to be a web-based application, a mobile application, and Ussd system. As we grow and we continue partnering with other organizations. And I think that's all from me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Charles. That was Charles from VoteBot based in Zimbabwe. I would like to now invite all of my speakers back on stage with me as we go into our discussion session. I think when I am around this caliber of innovators, I'm excited. My passion for civil society and civic tech in general is renewed. Just thinking about the ability not only to leverage technology, but really to give meaning and life to the term that the people shall govern. You know, not only our voice is going to be heard and seen, but I just feel that there's a sense that with the new innovations that we're seeing, specifically these civic technologies, that there really is some forward movement and not only taking up the concerns of the people, but actually relaying them and transforming those into actions that we can see that are tangible to the way that we live every single day. Okay, so without wasting any more time, I'd like to firstly thank the speakers for their lightning talks. I know the time is never enough, but here we are. We thank you for the time. We thank you for the sharing and the knowledge. And now it is your turn to be in the firing seat and answer some questions. So the first question I'd like to pose is to Yusuf. And it was just around the workings of CIRA and particularly doing work with authority. So I can imagine that with a lot of the statistics and the incidents that are recorded on the platform, there must be work that needs to be done with the authorities to take it out. What is that relationship like, and have you found it easier to kind of navigate that relationship? Yusuf, are you there? Perhaps while Yusuf finds his way, I can ask you, Charles. You are very ready, front and center, to take up the questions. So my question for you would have been around, so what is the feedback rate between leaders and citizens? So, I mean, it's one thing for a citizen to post a question, but I'm always interested in how transparent and how responsive are the leaders on the platform in actually addressing some of the questions. And then we will go back to Yusuf for his question that I asked before.
Okay, thank you very much. So this is a tricky one. Everyone keeps asking me the same on all forums that I go to. Apparently, so the leaders, it's their responsibility to actually, give feedback or answer to any queries that any citizens may raise. And one thing that actually helps us is, most of these leaders in directly elected positions are always up for re-election or always have keen interest in coming back to be re-elected, all right? So for the first time in history, they now have a platform where all the people that vote them into office are just represented on one single platform, all right? So if somebody actually asked a question and you decided to dodge it, or you let it go unanswered, on your scorecard, that is, it's a negative for you, all right? So your ratings start going down, okay? So it means the next time you're up for re-election, people are actually going to look at how many questions were asked, the accuracy of you responding or the turnaround time, and if possible, if you never answered at all. And these are the same questions that will come back and say, why should we vote you back into office if in the first place we kept asking all these questions and you're not answering? So this has actually forced the leaders to find the time and ensure that they respond to these questions.
And that they engage. That's so great. So I enjoy that there's a little bit more that they have to lose by not engaging, because like you were saying, if they're up for re-election, then it's in their best interest to actually engage and respond. But we will come back to you, Charles. Let me pivot back to Yusuf. Yusuf, are you still there? No? All right, I think we can move. Let me just check if Yusuf is here.
Allô? Ok, vous m'excusez?
Okay.
Voilà, par rapport à cette question, et, en fait, c'est un élément qui est très important parce que si nous voulons résoudre un problème des droits de l'homme, il faut forcément travailler avec les autorités. Et les interventions des autorités, ce n'est pas peut-être pour valider ou rejeter les données, mais c'est aussi de voir ensemble clairement quelle est la situation et qu'est-ce que les autorités aussi ont donné comme réponse donc par rapport à ces problèmes des droits de l'homme. Je n'ai pas pu vous partager une option ou de notre plateforme, qui est la réaction des autorités. On a dit, OK, il y a eu cet incident dans telle localité, dans tel village. Est-ce que les enquêtes ont été ouvertes et quelle est la suite que les autorités judiciaires ont donnée à ces situations? C'est à partir de là aussi, c'est à partir de leurs réactions que nous pouvons parler s'il y a l'impunité ou pas. Parce que tout de suite, on peut constater un événement, une situation qui peut être une atteinte aux droits humains, mais si les autorités interviennent pour essayer de résoudre le problème, pour rendre justice, là, on ne peut plus parler de l'impunité. Et donc, d'ailleurs, cela a été développé aussi pour combattre l'impunité parce que pour nous, tous les désordres et tous ces conflits sur tous les plans est partie de l'impunité. Et donc, voilà comment nous travaillons avec les autorités. Cela nous sert comme outil de plaidoyer du moment où nous, on peut partir avec des données statistiques pour dire que, OK, voilà, sur le terrain, des milliers de Maliens, des centaines d'observateurs ont documenté, ils ont collecté des informations et voilà, parmi les nombres des incidents que nous avons documentés, les autorités ont donné suite à tel nombre d'incidents. Par rapport à tel nombre d'incidents, il n'y a pas eu de réaction et nous venons vous voir ensemble pour que vous puissiez réagir par rapport à ces cas-là. Voilà un peu le travail que nous faisons avec eux. Et parallèlement, nous avons aussi travaillé dans le temps, nous continuons à travailler même aussi avec les avocats pour mettre aussi en lumière donc, les cas qui sont restés dans l'ombre. Voilà brièvement ce que je peux dire voilà, par rapport à cette collaboration. Oui. Parce que eux aussi, ça les aide. Par exemple, surtout nous sommes présents partout, il y a des cas que les autorités n'ont pas, auxquels les autorités n'ont pas accès. C'est bon? Merci beaucoup.
All right, that makes sense. In the meantime, Yusuf, I'm going to pose another question to you, and then I'm going to move over to Benjamin so that you can think about it in the meantime. And the question, yeah. So I think, Yusuf, I'm going to ask you another question in the meantime that you can think about while I speak with Benjamin and Charles, and then we shall return back to you. And it is really around whether CIRA also has a USSD or SMS update line as a way to be more inclusive and accessible to people, because we've realized obviously that not everyone is as tech savvy as some of us may be. And so it would be an interesting way to find out that for older generations, how do they access the CIRA platform as opposed to only simply accessing it as an online tool. All right, so Benjamin, now I have a question for you. Thank you so much for your presentation. And like I said, I think things like the vote bot really give a new meaning to the people shall govern. I know that misinformation remains a really big thing, especially when electing our next leaders in. And so as, hello, can you guys hear me? I'm just checking you. Benjamin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay, lovely.
Yes.
So I
Okay,
was just saying
Vous
that.
pouvez le faire peut-être, voilà, je sais pas, ou elle peut le prendre.
Okay. So the question that I had for you actually was just around whether there are any leaders that have supported and worked with you as you have been building the vote bot. So in the case of Uganda and Mamboke, what we realized there is that the relationship between the leaders and the people in parliament is quite an important quite an important one for the success of the platform, right? And I was wondering whether any other leaders in Zimbabwe have actually taken on any campaigns with you guys as a way to promote and make sure that the electorate is a little bit more informed ahead of the next election.
Okay, so thank you so much for the question. If I'm to be honest, the leaders that have worked with us, that have agreed to work with us, are the leaders that are at a local level, like our councillors and our chiefs, and headmen and the traditional leaders. But as of the member of parliament, the current member of parliament, those that hold high positions, they are yet to engage us or we've tried to engage them. But they are not willing. You know, when people have information, they know that the people have power. So now they are always trying to. They are very hesitant to support us to give information to people. But in terms of other civic organizations and other stakeholders who are non-political, that just want information to people, they are willing to work with us. We've already partnered with some of them, and in the district that I mentioned that we are currently piloting our project. So we're working with, currently we are working with 4 other other community-based organizations that are helping us to try and push and market and trying to disseminate information and trying to break down information to the people. Yeah.
I suppose it's actually a very useful thing that the chatbot is also accessible in the 16 languages, because while you work with then the community leaders and other advocacy groups, it means that if some of the local leaders are people that are able to engage, then at the very least there's a two-way street that we see there, and not necessarily just one way, with us trying to reach out to them and there being no reception. All right, Charles, moving on to you. I'm very cognizant of our time, so I'm trying to move fast as well, but also give the due diligence to all of our speakers some time to engage. The question that I wanted to ask you was, what statistics can you maybe share with us on the rate of access from, one, the online platform, and then secondly, the Ussd/SMS update? So obviously, making it available on both avenues is to make the platform as inclusive and accessible as possible. And I think it would be an interesting thing to find out which platform are people most likely to use. Charles, are you there? No? I think we may have lost Charles. Okay, let us...
Yeah, I hope that is over to me, right?
Yes. It's over to you.
Hello?
Hi, Charles. Can you hear me?
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, Charles.
Yes, I can.
Okay, you may answer the question.
All right. You just asked about between web and USSD/SMS, which channel drives more traffic, or which one is most likely going to garner more traffic. Is that correct?
Correct.
Hello?
That's correct, Charles. That was the question.
Okay. Yes. So it's two ways. So when it comes to when it comes to the leaders in parliament, it's more of the web portal. All right. So they find it much easier to respond via the web portal. But when it comes to the citizenry, the general citizens, at large, it's more of people at the best.
Oh, I think we've lost Charles's audio there. Charles, if you can hear me, are you still there? All right, I think we will come back to Charles. I do have one last question for them. In the meantime, could I please bring Yusuf back on stage to answer our question about the mechanism and platform? Yusuf, are you there?
Oui, Yusuf est là.
Okay. Over to you.
Je disais que je n'avais pas pu saisir votre question avec les perturbations. Est-ce que vous pouvez répondre?
Hello, I think I lost you there.
Oh, no problem. I can repeat it now. So I was asking that similar to the platform that we saw that Charles was speaking about that uses USSD as well as SMS updates. Does Syria have a portal similar to that?
Pour les mots, nous n'avons, ça fait partie des leçons que nous avons tirées. Comme vous le savez, CIRA, c'est et nous sommes en train de travailler aujourd'hui aux gens de faire des alertes non
Yusuf, you seem to be breaking a little bit. Is he still there? Okay, I think Yusuf has left us.
Here.
Are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe switch off your video and then just use your audio for us to hear you a little bit better. Thank you. Okay, let's try that again.
OK, c'est fait. Je dirais que c'était aussi les leçons que nous avons tirées de notre première expérience et nous sommes en train de développer aujourd'hui la plateforme pour rendre accessible, notamment même la barrière linguistique, parce qu'actuellement c'est en français, pour voir comment les communautés à base puissent documenter ou rapporter des cas, parce qu'actuellement nous travaillons avec nos représentants et puis nous avons aussi mobilisé plusieurs organisations pour être au plus près des communautés et au sein de cette communauté, les intellectuels qui sont là-bas nous ont servi en tant qu'activistes ou observateurs pour aider les victimes à remonter les cas. Mais désormais, nous allons essayer d'intégrer même des volets audio pour que les gens puissent envoyer au fait leurs situations ou leurs interpellations à travers des notes vocales et tout ça, mais aussi intégrer les plateformes WhatsApp, Facebook et même SMS pour que les gens puissent rapporter facilement au fait ce qu'ils traversent au quotidien. Merci.
Lovely. And Yusuf, one last question. So I know that when you were making a presentation, we had to wrap up relatively soon, but I just wanted to ask if you can just talk to us a little bit more about what the African Union Civic Tech Fund has been able to benefit with this initiative that you guys have been rolling out. What have been some of the benefits, not only to your organization, but to the community that you serve as a result of your participation? You'll just need to bear with us, everyone. Our interpreter is switching between channels.
Merci beaucoup pour cette question. Peut-être je vais me contenter de dire seulement quelques bénéfices, sinon je dirais que c'est limité, du moment où aujourd'hui le contexte malien est tellement préoccupant par rapport aux droits de l'homme et donc soutenir une initiative qui permet aux citoyens de dire ce qu'ils traversent exactement est très important. Nous sommes des observateurs des droits humains, mais aujourd'hui, il y a plusieurs raisons auxquelles nous ne pouvons pas accéder. Par exemple, avec CIRA, vous le savez, il y avait des réseaux du Nord qui ont été coupés et même les réseaux téléphoniques ont été coupés là-bas pendant des mois. Mais avec notre application, parce qu'on a aussi le web, mais l'appli mobile aussi qui permet aux gens même de collecter les données offline. Ce qui veut dire que pendant ce temps, des perturbations, les gens ont pu collecter les données et les envoyer. Donc, les communautés, même si on arrive à les couper, donc des administrations, des services ont au moins cette possibilité d'être en contact avec nous, les défenseurs des droits de l'homme. Et donc, ça, c'est un élément qui est très important. Et dans le cadre, comme c'est une initiative intégrée, nous avons aussi intégré d'autres volets pour cibler. Nous avons pu apporter des assistances médicales, des vivres, même aussi des soins ou même des assistances judiciaires grâce aux données qui ont été collectées via CIRA. Nous avons pu cibler les gens qui sont dans les besoins et les assister. Ça, c'est quelque chose qui est très important, qui est très, très utile. Ce que le Civitech Fond nous a aussi apporté, c'est quoi? Parce que les retours que nous avons eus de terrain, les leçons que nous avons apprises, ça nous permet aujourd'hui de les intégrer pour rendre encore la plateforme plus accessible, mais aussi plus bénéfique pour les communautés et élargir aussi la communauté des utilisateurs qui était très longtemps limité au seul de télé, mais peut-être dans un avenir très prochain, donc les gens auront cette capacité donc à vraiment à partager leurs préoccupations à travers cela. Ça, c'est des bénéfices majeurs que je peux dire de façon globale. Sinon, il y en a assez. Donc, voilà, je me contenterai de me limiter avec ces éléments.
Yeah. All right, thank you. And so as we quickly then close off our discussion session, I'd like to ask the same question to Benjamin and Charles. I know towards the end of your presentations, you also may have had to really move quickly through some of the benefits and advantages of participating in the AUCTF. So if you could just give some of that, particularly in relation to your initiative that you have undertaken as part of your participation. So what are some of those really great golden nuggets that you've been able to tap into, or some of the victories that you as your organizations and communities have been able to receive as a result? Benjamin, we can start with you and then move over to Charles. Very briefly, colleagues.
Okay, I'll try to be as brief as possible. I think the first important, the major benefit that we benefited is the completion, the building, the development of this project, the development of the solution. And that's the most important thing. We're able to complete it, and we're also able to launch it in those two districts that I mentioned for piloting and therefore testing. And then we're also able to assist more than 1,000 youths and women from these districts to their registration centers, and we're also able to educate people in their communities, because we went to the communities and we interacted with them, and we're also able to draw some lessons from them. They were highlighting to us what they want the solution to, because it's a human-centered solution. So they highlighted to us that we want the solution to do 1, 2, 3. So we're also able to collect those lessons. We're also able to help assist to those youths and women to go and register to vote, at their registration center. So I think those are the major benefits that will be benefited. So we're also able to acquire equipment at our offices so that we are able to monitor the system as it goes. We're also able to access internet on a monthly basis or on a daily basis. Yeah, so thanks to the fund, we are able to do that. And most importantly, we're now able to connect with other organizations and partner with them. Like I said, that we're currently working with 4 community-based organizations. Yes. So it's been
that's
quite
amazing.
It's been quite
truly
amazing.
And honestly. I don't know if there's anything more beautiful than watching collaboration within the civic tech space, because then we are definitely stronger together than we are alone. Okay, Charles, we're going to invite you to give your benefits of participating on the fund. I know that you might be struggling with the connection, so you can keep your video off so that we can just hear you properly while you deliver your response. Over to you, Charles. If you can hear me, Charles, you can put your video off.
Yes. So the
line is breaking again. Let's just try it one more time. Charles, are you there? You can switch your video off. So switch your video off and let's keep your audio on so that we can hear you. You're having some connectivity issues. And it's best that we hear the expertise that you have to share with us. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Please come again. I think, was it the same?
question. Yes, same question around the benefits of participating in the fund for this initiative that you have.
Yes, okay, thank you very much. So just like I had mentioned earlier during my presentation, so the fund helped us actually do a revamp of our system, because we already had something even prior to the fund, but when the fund came in, it actually helped us, revamp it, make it stronger, make it bigger, and also be able to pilot it, all right, especially in central Uganda, Kampala and Wakiso districts. But also most importantly, it's the credibility, okay? So through the fund, we were proud to actually, engage Parliament of Uganda and Uganda Communications Commission. So Uganda Communications Commission is the body or the commission that regulates all communications that happen. So a platform like ours would fall in the jurisdiction of Uganda Communications Commission. They need to be able to regulate any communication that happens on our platform. So it was through the effort of the fund that we were able to actually ride on top of that credibility to say, hey, we are in the right hands and we are for the right cause. Please give us the license to be able to channel this kind of communication. So we achieved that. And secondly, we were also able to get the attention of the Parliament of Uganda through the speaker, the newly elected speaker, because Parliament as an organ or as a body has the sole responsibility for ensuring that parliamentarians represent the views of their people. But now here is a platform that we just presented to them to simplify that kind of work. So if it wasn't for this fund, I don't think they would have given us audience. Yeah. So thank you very much for everything.
That is amazing. And on that note, for our attendees, we will be wrapping up the session. I'd like to thank Yusuf, Charles, and Benjamin for making the time to be here with us today. It has been really insightful to learn about the initiatives that are being supported by the African Union Civic Tech Fund in collaboration with GIZ. There are so many more innovative things that are yet to be seen from this continent, and these deep dives, which are happening daily at 11:30 until 1 p.m. CAT time, have really given us some extra time to dig deep and to unpack. So just a note that we will be having some sessions later today. We have a session that is scheduled for 2 p.m. and these are 4 parallel workshops. Following that, we will also be having our weekly hangout session, which is scheduled for 4 p.m. So do check out the rest of our virtual program for the day. We hope to see you tomorrow as well as we continue in these conversations. And I'm aware that we have run slightly over time, but we do want to thank the attendees that have stayed here with us, and there we go. So these are the 4 parallel sessions that you can attend after lunch. You can choose to attend one of these sessions. We can go on to the next slide. Following that, we will also be then having a weekly hangout, which will be happening from 1600 until 1800. And these will all be happening on AirMeet. Please remember that. They will be happening on AirMeet. So do join us for the rest of the day. It's really been fantastic having you all here. Go home and enjoy your lunch, and we shall see you right after this.